What's up guys, Jake Wisely here from fulltimefilmmaker.com, and this is the beginner versus pro lighting rematch. I am joined once again by our good friend Josh Blower, who has gone head to head with me in the last few videos where we test out and see, does experience matter? Or can you get away with great gear? And in our last video, we asked you what rematch you wanted to see, and we received so many comments asking for a lighting rematch where Josh is given tens of thousands of dollars of lighting equipment at his disposal, and I am given nothing. I'll be using nothing but natural light. You guys, lighting is key in elevating your productions. Having good lighting can make your films go from amateur to professional, but it's not enough to just have good lights, you have to know how to place them. So in this competition, Josh and I are gonna be filming the exact same skit with the same actors, everything will be the same. The only thing that will be different will be the lighting. His lighting setup versus my lighting setup, which is almost nothing. I'm gonna go first and shoot the skit while Josh goes in the back room and goes through our lighting section inside of our online course, so that while I'm filming, he's learning about lighting placement, dramatic lighting, cinematic lighting, so he can apply those things to his skit. Josh, how much experience do you have with lighting production?
I have zero experience with lighting. I've never used lights. I've only used natural lighting.
Okay, so this is gonna be pretty fun. But without further ado, let's get started. Josh, I'll have you get in the back room with a laptop and I'll have you start watching Parker's course and learning everything you can about lighting, and I'm gonna start shooting the skit. Here we go.
The most flattering focal length for the human face is in here. So we're seeing a bright white color as our background. Next we've got
Okay, so here is our skit, and again, we're using the natural light coming off this window. The sun's already gone down, so we have limited time left. I'm shooting at 100 ISO, and it still looks pretty decent. The 1DX does not too bad in low light. So we're gonna film the skit using only this natural window, and then these windows as a backlight, and we'll see how it looks. I'm a little nervous because I would love to have a key light just right there to film close the blinds, have a key light, a backlight, really make it pop. Get some good details of the Uno cards here, but we don't have that, so we're gonna do the best we can with the limited time we have, and just hope for the best. So here we go. Here's our first shot. 3, 2, 1, and action. I hate you guys. Okay, so it's getting pretty dark, you guys, so I'm bumping my ISO up to 320. I'm shooting at 150 shutter and a 1.8 aperture, so it's working, but I think in about 10-15 minutes, the lighting's gonna be completely gone. It's gonna be unusable. So here we go. Okay. All right, so I just wrapped shooting my scene. Overall, I'm happy with how it turned out. Some of the shots look pretty bad because of the lighting. We're fighting against the sun. And so some shots didn't turn out the way I wanted them to, but some shots actually look pretty good. But now we're gonna give the room over to Josh, who just spent the last half an hour watching some of our lighting tutorials inside the course. And after he's done lighting the scene the way he thinks looks the best, I'll come in and shoot the scene exactly how I shot it before. So it's the same shots, the same angles, the same dialogue, just better lighting, so that we can clearly see what difference lighting can make. All right, Josh, you have the room, man, so I'll just go back there. You get all the lights set up. We're gonna have Nate, our newest member, help Josh set the lights, sit in with him, whatever he needs. And once it's all set up, I'll come in and shoot the scene exactly how I shot it before. Here we go.
So I don't want to shoot by the side of the window. I want to shoot in the middle of the room. That's what I'm thinking.
Good plan.
Thinking if I should put the table like this. Yes, probably this side, so I can get that background in. So I want to use this big guy right here.
Big one?
Mm-hmm. So I can get that soft look instead of that hard look. Put that guy right here. Actually, I don't know anymore. Yeah, let's try the back corner real quick. So right now, his face is pretty dark. So I'm gonna turn on another dome and then light up his face a little bit. It's a little bright. Let's see if we can turn it down. Right there. Let's go down to 50. I just want to see what it looks like. That's probably good right there. We just have to put another light behind him. We need a hair light or something, but I don't want to ruin that lighting. Just looks bright, so bright right here. Yeah, wait, try to keep that off. Looks better now. So you can see the light on the dark side of his face, like a little, what's it called, like a flare. So I'm gonna try scooting it back. Well, I think it looks better without that, kind of, a little bit. So what I wanted to do was light up that back desk to get a background. It looks a lot better with the background lit up because it shows more, what's a good word? Depth. Yes, I think it looks really good on this side and Landon's side.
Especially on that side.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Josh's setup is done. It's pretty freaking good. Now I'm gonna go through with the actors and just shoot the scene start to finish, exactly as I shot it over there in my setup. And then we'll give the finished videos to Parker to judge the final results. Here we go. All right, and that is a wrap. Josh, dude, great job, you killed it. I'm gonna go and edit these two skits together to be the exact same. We're gonna send them off to Parker. Parker's gonna watch these, judge these, and give his thoughts on whether a professional without lighting can outperform a beginner with great lighting. Here we go.
And it is now time to judge the two videos to see which one I think has better lighting. Now, in the spirit of lighting, I took that same location Jake did, shooting in just natural light, and tried to use some fill light to create what would be an optimal situation, using some artificial lights in conjunction with the natural light to create what is hopefully a professional looking shot here. Now, we are in the middle of the day. The sun is directly overhead right behind me, so it's super bright. Jake was shooting at dusk, and so the light wasn't so overpowering outside. But I've had some of you ask me in the past, how would you light an interview like this outside? And the biggest key is just getting a huge fill light, which I have right here. I'll cut to a shot. I'm just blasting light into my face to combat that sunlight in the back, and it's still a little bit too bright behind me, but you can now see that outside, it is no longer blown out like you will see in Jake's skit. So back to judging their two skits. First, let's start with Jake's. I'll break it down, then we'll watch Josh's. I'll break that down, talk about the pros and cons, and we'll wrap it up. Here we go.
Uno. You wanna go again? I don't know. We've been here for a while. I'm probably gonna head home.
Here, let's make it interesting.
I'll raise you 5.
Well, in that case, I'll raise you
You know what?
however many that is.
All right, you know what? Deal me in.
You're gonna regret this.
Let's do it.
Your move, Nate.
Draw 2, draw 2, draw 4, draw 4, draw 4. Skip, Uno, you suck. Done, I win. Take this.
All right, awesome job, Jake. Overall, the skit I thought was hilarious. Killed it on the acting, Landon and Nate, but let's get down to what we're judging here, and that is the lighting. So first things first, this was all done with natural light, only just that big window light. And for a lot of you, this is what you're gonna be dealing with. You're not gonna have big, expensive lights, so you gotta figure out how to make just natural light work. Now, the opening scene is a wider shot that shows both of them together, and you see in the background, because it's dusk, which he shot at the best time of day he possibly could just using natural light, because he shot at dusk, the background isn't too blown out, but it is a little blown out. So ideally we would have had a little bit of fill light so that they aren't so dark and the background isn't so bright. Typically you want your subject to be the brightest part of your image, and in this case they are both the darkest part and the background sky is the brightest part. Now Jake didn't have access to lights, but if he just would have brought in a reflector, maybe that was against the rules, I don't know. But using a $30 reflector would have done wonders in this case to help fill back in some of that light. So even if you can't afford lights, get some reflectors, bounce that back on your subject, and that would have gone a long way. Now, the shots focusing on each of their faces I thought were money. The way he positioned them made it so that they had this Rembrandt lighting on their face, which is super cinematic. Landon had a little bit of kick light on the side of his face, helping give some dimension there. And that was from the back window, also natural light. But Jake did a good job of making sure that light was visible and didn't close it off or blind it off. On Nate's face, he's getting a little bit lost in the background. We could have used a little backlight to separate his head from the background. It just all kind of gets kind of dark and muddy back there. So that's my biggest critique of that specific frame. You can help that out by putting him in some white clothes. So if you would have had him in a white shirt, he wouldn't have got quite as lost in the black background. So there's things you can do, even if you don't have great lighting, to kind of help your subjects pop and create more depth. Now the tight shots of the hand I loved. I thought the lighting was super soft because this window is huge. So you're creating a super soft light source. that just looks natural, looks real. So overall, I love the look and feel of Jake. It felt natural, it felt real. So despite not having any access to lights, I thought Jake did a good job of positioning his subjects, using this as a backlight, giving them that nice Rembrandt lighting, choosing to shoot on the dark side instead of the light side, and that created a cinematic look. So could have used some fill light so the background wasn't so blown out. Could have used some hair light so our subjects weren't blending in with the background. But overall, awesome job, Jake. Let's now watch Josh's.
Oh no. And that is game.
You wanna go another one?
No, I'm all right. We're gonna head home pretty soon.
How
Been in
about
for a little bit.
we make it interesting?
All right. In that case, I'll raise you a good old 400 buckaroos.
I'll raise you 30,000.
All right.
You're gonna regret this.
Let's go deal me in.
Let's see what we got here. Your move, Nate.
Draw two, draw two, draw four, draw four, draw four. Skip Uno, you suck. Draw another four. This is mine, baby. How much was in this? 30,000?
80,000.
At least.
All right, awesome job to Josh. Now, he's getting to a point where he's really not that big of a beginner. He was like 5 months ago, but he's been with us for a while now. He interned for a while. He's been watching the course. He took some time, a few hours to watch, review some of our tutorials inside a full-time filmmaker. So he's applied a lot of the principles that I would tell people to apply. A little bit of cheating here because Josh is no longer in the beginner category, in my opinion. But with that having been said, there's still some things that we could improve here. First things first, the opening shot. You see that he has a tube light lighting up the back wall, but it's way too bright. I mean, the advantage we had with Josh's is he chose not to shoot with natural light, to shoot all artificial, and so he had the ability to control all of his light sources. And that backlight is way too bright. You see that it's blown out. It's much brighter than the subject's face. Again, you usually want your subject to be the brightest thing in the image and the backgrounds to be less bright so that your subject is popping out as the most important thing to be looking at. But my eye is drawn to the center where that white blinding light is kind of taking up my focus. So that's a quick fix. You just turn down that light source, make it less bright, and we're done. So Josh should have looked at that and said, that light's too bright, go turn that down a tad. Now moving on to the shots of their faces. First of all, let's talk about Nate's shot. It looks pretty money, like I said. Josh reviewed some of our material inside the course and made sure to give them Rembrandt lighting, which is a popular look in Hollywood films, with that little triangle under one of the eyes. And he made sure to shoot on the dark side of their faces, which is also a cinematic look. Now he was about to shoot on the broad side or light side, but some of our crew there helped them out and said, you should probably switch it around. So again, a little bit of cheating. They were helping Josh out, helping him make it look as good as possible. But awesome look there on Nate. Got a little bit of backlight there. We got some depth with the hallway on the right there. And then of Landon, you notice he's got a little kicker light, little warm light coming off the chair there. So nice flare. Nice ad there by Josh, great decision. Using the two big soft lights to use as key lights for the one person and a backlight for the other. So awesome lighting setup overall for Josh. I thought he nailed it. Now on the hands, you'll notice that this shot, compared to the one that Jake did, the shadows are a lot harsher, and that's because the light source on Landon's hands and Josh's has a smaller light source, which causes harsher shadows, whereas Jake had a huge window light, much softer, which gave him a more realistic look in my opinion. So the look of Josh's looks a little bit less real to me, a little bit more set up, whereas Jake's looks a little bit more realistic. And again, that just comes with experience, and it also comes with utilizing natural light, making it feel like it's a real place and not just a set on a film studio. Now the last critique of Josh's is that there's a lot of lights showing up in some of these shots. They reviewed the shots with Josh and said, do you like that? And he said yes. He passed off on it when he should have said, actually, I can see the light stands, I can see the lights in these shots, let's put them a little bit higher, or let's change the framing. So part of that's Jake's fault for not framing them out, trying to frame them out. Part of that is Josh's fault for not noticing and saying, hey, let's redo that, but make sure to frame it different, or let's change the lighting position so we're not seeing any of the lights in any of the light stands in the shot. So small thing there, but that's again gonna make it feel less like a set and more like a real location. So overall, I thought they were both awesome. They were better for different reasons, but it does go to show that if you have a little bit of lighting experience and you have access to some great lights and a crew around you that knows how to fill in the rest of the gaps, like getting the right angles and all that, then you really can produce something quite amazing, even if you don't have a ton of experience. And on the other side with Jake, he went to show that even if you have no lights, you can utilize just natural light and get an awesome look as well. Again, I'd recommend getting a nice reflector in there to help fill in when you can, but I thought both these guys did an awesome job lighting their scenes. Again, we teach all of this in Full-Time Filmmaker. Both of these guys have taken the course and are leagues above where they were months or years ago because of that information. So make sure to go check out fulltimefilmmaker.com to learn more about how to up the production value of your videos. Lastly, make sure to leave in the comments what kind of competition you'd like to see next between the pro versus the beginner. This has turned into a full-blown series. A lot of you guys seem to like it, so we're going to keep going at it. Let us know what you'd like to see next in the comments below. And finally, don't forget to subscribe for more content just like this. And if you have any further questions, please let me know.